Hi everyone, and welcome to English 10 Minutes. Sometimes, the most powerful feelings are the hardest to name. Today's story is about a connection like that, a bond that looks like love, feels like love, but is something else entirely. Let's learn and feel together through the story of Leo and Maya. Our story began, like all the best ones do, in a library. Not the quiet, dusty kind, but the loud, after-school kind, filled with the sound of backpacks hitting tables and teenagers whispering too loudly. I was trying to finish my history homework, but I couldn't focus. Then, she sat down across from me. Maya. She didn't say anything at first, just opened a book. But the air changed, like the sun had come out from behind a cloud. She had a pen stuck behind her ear and her hair was a beautiful, messy collection of curls. After 5 minutes of silence, she looked up and said, "Page 50. The answer you're looking for is on page 50. That's how it started. Simple. Easy. From that day on, we were Leo and Maya. The name sounded like a single unit, a single idea. We walked home together every day, our path winding through streets with old trees that dropped yellow leaves on our shoulders. We talked about everything and nothing. We talked about her dreams of moving to a big city and becoming a theater director, and my dream of capturing the world through my camera lens. She loved the way I saw things, the small details I noticed, the tired look in an old man's eyes, the bright color of a single flower growing through a crack in the sidewalk. I loved the way she spoke about the future, like it was a place she had already visited and was excited to show me. We had our rituals. Every Friday, we'd buy milkshakes from the old diner on Main Street, chocolate for me, strawberry for her. We'd sit in the same red booth by the window, the vinyl cracked and worn, and watch the world go by. Our friends would joke about it. "When's the wedding?" they'd ask. We would just laugh. We never gave them a real answer because we didn't have one. We were just Leo and Maya. It was our own little world, and in that world, we didn't need labels. We had something better. We had each other. The comfort of it was like a warm blanket on a cold night. I thought it would last forever. The first crack in our perfect world appeared in October. The air was getting colder, and the days were getting shorter. We were at our usual spot, a wooden bench overlooking Miller's Pond, watching the ducks swim in lazy circles. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. It was the kind of quiet, beautiful moment we had shared 1,000 times. But this time, something was different. Maya was quiet, her hands twisting a loose thread on her sweater. Usually, our silences were comfortable, full of unspoken understanding. This one was heavy. "I met someone," she said finally, her voice so soft I almost didn't hear it over the evening wind. The words hung in the air between us. His name was Ben. He was the new guitarist in her brother's band. She said he was funny, and he had kind eyes. As she spoke, I felt a strange, cold feeling in my stomach. It wasn't exactly anger. It wasn't exactly sadness. It was confusion. I was supposed to be happy for her. She was my best friend. But all I could think about was our world, the one we built just for the two of us. Was there room for a third person in it? I imagined her laughing at his jokes, sharing secrets with him, maybe even getting a milkshake with him. The thought felt like a betrayal, even though I knew that wasn't fair. "That's great, Maya," I said, and I tried to make my voice sound happy, but it felt like I was reading a line from a script. She looked at me, her eyes searching my face. "You're okay with it?" she asked. I nodded, forcing a smile. Of course, why wouldn't I be? But we both knew something had shifted. The warm blanket of our friendship suddenly felt thin, and for the first time, I felt a cold draft. The perfect, simple world of Leo and Maya was becoming complicated. The weeks that followed were strange. Maya was happy, but she was also divided. She would be with Ben, but then she would call me late at night, telling me about a movie I had to see, or a song that reminded her of our first year of high school. I was her anchor, she said. Her constant, the person who knew her before she was this new version of herself. I held on to those words. I tried to be the perfect friend, the anchor she needed. I listened to her talk about Ben, about the little fights they had and the sweet things he did. I gave her advice, but with every word, the cold feeling inside me grew. I was living a double life, the supportive best friend on the outside, and a storm of confused feelings on the inside. I started to think that maybe our friends were right all along. Maybe I was in love with her. The idea was both terrifying and comforting. It gave a name to my jealousy and my sadness. It made sense. The climax came on a rainy Tuesday night. Ben had canceled their date, and Maya called me, crying. "Can you come over?" she asked, her voice thick with tears. I grabbed my coat and ran to her house. I found her in her room, curled up on her bed. We've sat in silence for a long time, listening to the rain hit her window. "What's wrong with me, Leah?" she whispered. "Why do I feel like this?" I took a deep breath. This was it. This was my moment to tell her everything. "Maybe," I started, my heart beating fast. "Maybe he's just not the right person." She looked at me. "Then who is?" Her question was a genuine plea for an answer. My confession was on the tip of my tongue. I miss me. But as I looked into her tear-filled eyes, a different truth hit me. Sudden and clear. I wasn't in love with her. I was in love with us. I was in love with our world, our Friday milkshakes, our comfortable silences, our shared history. Ben wasn't a rival for her love. He was an invader in the world we had built. The realization was quiet, but it was earth. I don't know who the right person is, I said, the words tasting like truth and disappointment at the same time. But I know you deserve to be happy. Genuinely happy. I wasn't lying. I did want her to be happy. My feelings were never about possessing her, but about preserving the sanctuary we had created. She needed a friend, and in that moment, I became one. A real one. After that night, things began to change, slowly but surely. The change wasn't loud or dramatic. It was in the small things. Our daily walks home became less frequent. Sometimes she had plans with Ben. Sometimes I said I had to stay late for the photography club. I started spending more time with my camera, finding a new way to see the world that was just mine. I photographed empty swings in the park, the reflection of clouds in a puddle, the lonely look of a single light on in a dark house. My photos were full of a quiet sadness, but also a strange kind of peace. Maya and Ben eventually broke up. She told me about it over the phone. It was a mature, calm conversation. There were no late-night tears this time. She was learning to stand on her own feet, and I was learning to stand on mine. We were still friends, but the invisible string that had tied us together for so long was now gone. We were no longer Leo and Maya, the single unit. We were Leo, and we were Maya. Two separate people, finding their own paths. There was a space between us now, and it was filled with unspoken words and the memory of what we used to be. It was sad, but it was also necessary. We were growing up, and sometimes, growing up means letting go of the beautiful worlds we build to protect ourselves from the real one. Our little world was no longer big enough for our futures. The summer before college was a season of goodbyes. Maya was going to a university in Chicago, a city full of theaters and dreams. I was staying in our hometown, taking classes at the local community college to build my photography portfolio. On one of our last nights in town, we met for one last milkshake at the old diner. We sat in our usual booth. It felt familiar and strange at the same time, like visiting your childhood home after years away. The place was the same, but we were different. "Are you going to be okay?" she asked, stirring her strawberry milkshake. It was the same question she had asked on the bench by the pond, but this time, the weight was gone. "I will be," I said, and I knew it was true. "I'm excited to see your name in lights one day." She smiled, a real, bright smile that reached her eyes. "And I'm excited to see your photos in a gallery." We talked for an hour, about the future, about our fears and our hopes. We didn't talk about the past. We didn't need to. It was there with us, sitting in the booth, a silent third person. It wasn't a ghost that haunted us. It was a foundation that we had built and were now standing on separately. When we finished our milkshakes, we walked outside into the warm summer night. "This is it, I guess," she said. I nodded. There were no tears, no dramatic declarations. We just hugged. A long, honest hug. It wasn't a hug between a boy and a girl who were secretly in love. It was a hug between two people who had shared a part of their souls and were now brave enough to take them back. We let go, and she walked to her car. As she drove away, I understood everything. We were never us. Wasn't a sad story. It wasn't about a love that was lost. It was about a love that was misunderstood. The love was real, it was deep and true, but it was never meant to be a romance. It was a shelter from the storm of growing up. And now, the storm had passed. We were never us, but we were everything we needed to be, right when we needed it. Thank you for joining our story time. The space between friendship and love can be confusing, but it's also where we grow the most. I hope this story gives you some words for your own feelings. Keep practicing your English, keep feeling deeply, and we'll see you in the next story.